thank people. Gratitude is not even a humble brag. It's honestly, thank you for doing this. And now I'm more motivated than ever to make this happen again for you. Less about you and more about them. That is a problem that is rampant in our industry. Put yourself in the client's shoes. What does this do for them?
Hello, mic drop. I don't even think we need to say anything else. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Glennda's Guru. I am excited to be here with my friend, Danielle Garofalo. I always want to think, what was that actress's last name? Actress that had the last name Garofalo? Janine Garofalo.
She was in Reality Bites, Saturday Night Live. You know, I'm grateful to her because without her, no one would absolutely pronounce my name correctly.
Well, you know, every time I start to say it, I always want to put an extra vowel in there. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Danielle Garofalo to Glennda's Guru. And Danielle, I am so excited to have you here. And I got to tell you guys, before I even pass it over to her to give us a summary about who she is, let me tell you, I had the opportunity to see Danielle speak at a conference, and I was so impressed by her. I loved her straight talk. I loved the fact that she knew all of her data. But one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is you're a coach, but to me, you're much more of a business consultant. I would say that probably the best advice I've ever had for my business came from you. I just think that you are absolutely a force within our industry on many different levels, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And one thing that I think is so cool that most people don't realize about you, or they wouldn't know about you, because you don't do the humble brag, you don't do the obvious brag, you don't do any bragging. So let me brag on you a little bit. You have 20 one-on-one coaching clients, and all 20 of those clients are in the Real Trends top 1,000 real estate professionals in the country. Holy cow.
Some awesome people. Yeah, true.
So Danielle, so for the people who don't know you, give us a little bit of synopsis, your background, who you are and what you do, and what you bring to the table in the real estate industry.
Glennda, well, first of all, thank you for having me on. You know that I am the biggest Glennda Baker fan. I am. We shared a banana shake together, and I think it was friends at first shake. It was so yeah, I'm thrilled to be here, and I appreciate the invitation. My background is like everyone else in real estate. I didn't go to real estate first, and I think that is. I think that's important to say because there are so many people who think that, oh, wow, you're in real estate. Well, it's all you know and that's all you do. No, I actually started my career at Disney and then I went on to work at IBM and then I went into real estate. And so my career has typically just been mostly within the high end. I was going to say I fell into that because of living in New York and that being one of the top luxury markets on the planet. I've been a CMO, I've been a chief of business development, and the more I started to think about what I did on a daily basis, and as I got to these conferences, I realized that what my background was is so unique. Having this kind of internal and external, as a consultant and as an executive. So understanding what agents are getting asked by their clients, but what the agents will need from the brokerage. And so I think that that's why, the consulting really, I get so much out of it. And so do my clients, because they don't have to explain to me what's going on. I already know that part of it. So when we can start immediately, on day one, just let's get the work done. Between that, it's between that and kind of doing these things with you, it's fun.
It is fun. And what I love is you do a lot of social media management for people as well. And so, yes. and you really are a marketing, social media business guru. in this real estate space. And what I love is the advice that you give is not just sound bites, it really is tactical and applicable to your business immediately. And I think that that's probably why you're seeing so much success in the clients and teams that you coach.
Yeah, it's I think bringing, Disney was one of the best experiences for me in my career. I was just fortunate that it was at the beginning. It set the foundation for everything that I kind of use. Not, I mean, it sounds silly, but for real estate. The way in which they speak. If you think of Disney as a huge company that has for generation after generation after generation continued to have a strong, like, there's nobody who comes from like a family who's whatever that's like, yeah, I've never heard of Disney, it's not something I would like. I mean, just think of what they have done as far as the marketing and synergy between all touch points. So television, online, in person, in the parks. No one has kind of tied that together better than they have. And so I think having that understanding of how they did that enables me to kind of help, the different, I work in brands that are besides real estate, but especially in real estate where agents are always trying to kind of tie each thing together, whether that's a mailer or, an in-person event that they're hosting or an open house, or, how do you tie all of these things together? And when I started in real estate, what I realized was that there was no one really marrying all of the touch points. And so that's what I focus on that a lot with my clients.
Well, and one thing that you do that I absolutely love is rather than showing people mailers that you like, you show people mailers that you don't like.
Yeah. Yeah. In my class, and just so you know, just to kind of let me put this with like a warning. If you have done a mailer that I'm like, oh, this doesn't, whatever, I'm not showing your identity. I block out everything, anything that could be identifiable. My focus is always the messaging. And you're right. I don't think we learn anything from stuff that's good. Like you see this is good, but if there is something that's, in front of you that is, I mean, I get mailers like you do to my home every day. And, from a marketing nerdy standpoint, when I get the mailer, I'm like, what? Like, what is this messaging? And so always there's a teachable moment in there. And I, usually when an agent comes to me and we sit down, I say to them like, look, I'm going to be brutally honest, but brutally honest in a way that's not going to hurt you, that's going to instantly change what you do. And I'm sure, I know you're like this, Glennda. It's like tough love.
Yeah.
Maybe in New Jersey, we're a little rougher on that, like the edges. And so originally from New Jersey. So sometimes my friends will say, that was a little too Jersey. But to help, to help people understand, I never find the best stuff, because if you show people what works, they're just going to say, okay, I'm going to copy that. And then you'll have 100 of the same looking mailers all the time. And that won't help you at all. It just
so true. So true. And you really help people take their style, their market, and their product and really create this cohesive brand for everything that they do, whether it's print, digital, or in-person events. Really, you're taking their branding, you're taking their messaging, you're taking what they do and really putting it on steroids.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is the first thing that I always look at more than the visual. And again, I do that as a marketer. As a consumer, they're always attracted to the visuals first. But as a marketer, I always focus on the messaging. And I find that when I talk to the agent, they know exactly what they do. They know, like, exactly what you do well, and you know why your clients are coming to you. Where the disconnect happens is that I will look at the messaging and I'm like, but then you don't say that here. And so they tend to fall into the trap of like, yeah, but these words are, these are buzzwords and these are whatever, but it's not what you do. So I think that, taking a step back immediately and saying to someone, okay, tell me what you do well, and now tell me why it's not here in this marketing. You'd be surprised at how many people actually look at that with shock of like, yeah, we didn't say that. I mean, there's, I think the mailer that I use often is the one where there was an agent who was like, oh, I've got a great personality and I'm this and I'm that. And on the back of it, they tell you that they broke a record in the neighborhood for, however millions over. And they made the process easy. But on the front where the people were like looking immediately, you tell me that like you're fun. So I think, we get caught up in these things that we see on social and these little, ads that, we're scrolling by and, some people actually like take a look at them and take them to heart and that this is what I should be doing. And no.
You were recently at a women's luxury conference.
Oh,
and we were talking a little bit about it, but I want you to share with my viewers, like what were your 3 takeaways? Like, where is luxury branding? Where are these amazing brands? And it wasn't just real estate brands. This is, the top, the highest luxury brands across many industries. What is it that you're seeing them shift to?
So this conference was amazing. And it's one of those moments where, I've been doing this for 20 something years now, marketing for like 20 something years. And still, I stepped into this room and I'm listening to these women speak and knowing that I'm coming down the line to speak myself. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Like there's like one of those internal moments where you're like, what? Head of marketing for Rolls-Royce was there, Lacoste, Victoria Beard, Chanel, Apple, like all of these, incredibly brilliant women. And the things that they were talking about were, I would say, not a shock, but a surprise to like, wow, let me perk my ear up because they weren't talking social media. They weren't going on and on and on about social. One of them said that the way in which they built their list was white papers, which, and for those of you who aren't familiar with a white paper, it's like a research-based report. It's like an in-depth analysis of a specific topic. White papers are typically quite long to read. So, we were taught marketers to keep everything short. So for that, when I heard that, I was like, wow, that's how they built their list, which was, awesome. The next thing that they were talking about, Yves Saint Laurent had a big, Capgemini did this whole report about companies like Yves Saint Laurent and Chanel who are doing more of QR code based marketing. So when people saw, the marketing, it literally like led them right to it, which is interesting because there's been like a love-hate relationship with the world and QR codes. Restaurants really got used, oh my gosh, restaurants that's how they lived during COVID. If you went anywhere to eat, whatever. But for this to be done in luxury brands, that was a big surprise. And then the other thing was all of these brands were focusing less on social, less on investing in sort of
influencer marketing.
Less investing in influencer marketing and more in investing in like events. So in-person events where the people who are already involved with their brand can kind of get, an up close and personal. That seemed to be the thing more or less for like Rolls-Royce, these events that were happening that they took input from clients and then they incorporated it into all of the events. So I think all of these things that we can sit and be like, listen, we are not in an industry that is like Chanel. So we can't like until the day you can drag and drop a house into a cart. Some of these things will be a little different. However, we can take, if you're, geared toward a luxury client, and this is the way that they're used to kind of seeing the brands around them, for you to kind of incorporate some of these things, that just makes you just like what they're seeing in other, industries that they interact with. So
it's so,
those
okay. So I've got a couple of questions. So you talked about white papers and research-based reports to their lists. So is this like to their database list, their email list, their client list?
So you know what they did? It was that they were downloaded. So it's like a free, when you see like a free ebook on certain sites. So it was people who were visiting their sites so that they were, they were targeted to the site with an ad or whatever. And then when they got there, they got this white paper to, to explain whatever. And I know that, there are ways that we can do this in real estate, like, with market reports or easy stuff. But if you talk about market reports in neighborhoods and towns and stuff like that, these aren't the things that you would blast out on social. These should be the things that you allow people to download or email them out once you have it, their email address. So these are ways to build lists, which is not new. But once you have them, you already know that they are interested in, if you've done 4 white papers and they've downloaded one of them, you already know the specific topic that they're interested in. And if you're a real estate agent and you do this and you do it for 5 separate neighborhoods, and you already know the neighborhood that they're interested in when they download it. So that to me was, great. And then what you can do is email marketing for all of these brands is huge. There was every single person discussed email marketing. And, the best thing about email marketing, which most agents don't do, and I'll tell you most agents don't do this because I see it when I sit down with them, they do not segment their lists. They do like a generic, let's just blast it out to every single person because I don't want to miss anybody. But if you do this kind of walk through the white paper issue, you write a white paper on a neighborhood. I'm just giving an example. You write a white paper on a neighborhood, you put it up on your site, they download that white paper. You don't just throw them into a list that is like my generic list. No, if they've downloaded the neighborhood where 123 Banana Street is, my little Glennda, you knew I was working that in. If they download the neighborhood where 123 Banana Street is, why would you throw them into a generic list? Throw them into the neighborhood so that when you've got listings, that's where they're looking. Yes, I agree that, this person might not want to be in this neighborhood forever, but guess what they've just told you? They're interested in it because they've downloaded this. So to ignore what people are telling you, this is not something that, I'm shaming people or whatever, because I get it. People really do want to kind of give the information if you've ever interacted with them, give the information that you have. But give the information that they want is a totally different scenario. And it's a more successful scenario because then they're more likely to open it and engage with you. The goal is not to just collect email addresses. The goal is not to just have a great open rate. The goal is for any email is a click-through rate. You want them to click through and connect with you. All of these things. So the way in which, you pay attention to sort of like the consumer behavior of things, like the nerdy part of the nerdy side of things, and you can get right down to where, why isn't anybody opening it? Okay, great. It's too generic.
Okay, so just stop. So ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. If you didn't hear what Danielle just said, if you didn't hear what she just said, I'm going to repeat it for you for those of you who were a little bit distracted. So stop what you're doing and listen to me now. She said, segment your email marketing. Why do you do that? Give them the information that they want, not just the information that you have. Ding, 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 ding. You want to just turn everything off right now? Go right ahead. You got
that's
literally.
I've got literally.
You want to talk about the biggest takeaway that you're going to get from this? That's probably not it. But I'm going to tell you something right now. That was damn sure worth the price of admission. Give them the information that they want, not the information that you have. And if you do a segmented list for your email marketing, you have the ability where whatever they have come in on, give them more, double down on that, segment those lists. That is crucial and critical, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and Glennda, that's not to say you can't use that as like, hey, I'm going to email everyone. You're never going to email everyone. Yes, you absolutely do that. However, if people have told you this is what I want, you give it to them. I know I had a client once say to me, but what if they want a neighborhood that they can't afford? You don't know that just yet. They're just telling you right now today. These are all the ways that you'll find that out when you whatever. But if I've told you today, I'm downloading this neighborhood where, 123 Banana Street is, you need to give me the information about that neighborhood.
All day,
and
every day, and twice on Sunday. I love it.
Twice on Sunday. I mean, listen, I have a client who sold over $900 million, $900 million in 1 year. And the thing that we were going through with the lists and kind of always, because we check those lists quarterly, is to go through and say, okay, really, really specific. Who is this person? What do they, all the things that you have in your CRM, apply it to email.
I love it.
Again, kind of making sure every touch point is the same. This is all the information in your CRM. Great. Why is it all generic in your email? It shouldn't be. You should segment it all the same way.
I love that. And you talked a little bit about QR code and QR code based marketing. So I'm at Neiman Marcus the other day, and I am looking at this it is gorgeous, this beautiful jacket. I'm in love with it. And sure enough, on the tag is this QR code. Well, I had to scan it because I was like, what am I missing? It didn't tell me what it went to. I scanned it, and it actually took me to every piece in the collection.
That's it.
And this is the thing, is like at the store, of course, what size did they have at the store? The 0. Who the hell wears a damn 0? Don't say a word. I know you wear a 0. I mean, who in the world wears a damn 0? 1 in 1 million people. No, the normal person doesn't wear a damn 0. And sure enough, what's at the store is the 0. I scanned that QR code, and literally it gave me the inventory in Neiman Marcus of that jacket, and I could just order it online, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And it showed me all of the pieces that matched. It was like a damn animal at
That's right.
At Neiman's. It was fantastic.
I mean, and especially in Neiman's where there is not a ton of people walking around that is, whatever. So if you have the question about, what piece goes with whatever, you don't want to think, okay, let me go through in the website and find whatever. The QR code is right there now. It just told you, you can buy this, plus when you get it, here's all the pieces that you can get for whatever. So these are the things that luxury is doing for you, to make this sort of, not only easier for you, but answering and anticipating the questions that the customer has before they ask it. Yeah. And I think that that's something that agents, especially in the luxury, and we try and kind of do this all the time. What do we think they're going to ask? What do we, how can we make this an easier process for them? And I don't think that should be exclusive to luxury. I think it should be anything. Yeah. Anytime you can make your life easy, anytime you can make your client or your consumer's life easier, they'll never leave you. Never.
Yeah. I was thinking about the events, and, obviously I had seen you on stage at a conference. You had seen some of my videos, but we really kind of bonded at an event, at a luxury dinner in Las Vegas. Yep. And you talk a little bit about events and how important as you're a real estate agent, especially you're a real estate agent in New York, but if you're a real estate agent in, Iowa, and you're doing an event, are you looking for an event that is really kind of catered to your clientele? Not necessarily a luxury event, because, if you're selling $300,000, $400,000 houses in Iowa, is that the luxury price? I don't know, but are you gearing your events more towards your clientele?
Yeah, it's 100%. I think you have to know your audience. I think that's a good piece of advice, not only for social, but for in person, is to understand your audience and yes, give them the things that they expect, but also go above and beyond and, give them a surprise of like, wow, I wasn't expecting that within the context of the thing that they're arriving to. Right. So, when you think about it, whether this is Iowa, anywhere, this is anywhere. I mean, it can be, if your community is big on pancake breakfast, do a pancake breakfast. By all means, do a pancake breakfast and go above and beyond and sort of figuring out this other thing that is coming down the line is hyper-personalization. This is a luxury. Rolls-Royce, the head of marketing, was saying that, when they bring the buyer in, they give a whole questionnaire and they have all experience so that they know their buyer better than anyone. And if their buyer says to them, this was 100% an example. You want to talk about goals, Glennda, for people like Hamilton, to have the dog paw stitched onto the dashboard, the paw print of their dog stitched onto the dashboard, then they know they love dogs. And now everything that they do is kind of, they've geared that toward them. So it's about getting to know your clients as well. People come through the door. It's very funny. I know sometimes it can't be helped with like open houses. And, you can't go for one reason or another with the team. If you can't go to an open house and you're having a great open house event and your team has to go in place for you, your team should be prepared like no other, that they are going to know the people who are walking through the door, especially if they are not with an agent already. Know the people who are walking through the door, so that you can tailor the next thing to the people who get, like, every single touch point where you're meeting another human being is an opportunity for you to learn about them, to improve your events that they will be at the next time. I think that that's, it's a no-brainer. And again, this like hyper-personalization that is happening, even you can just, again, take it out of the luxury thing. If you're not going to do a whiskey bottle that has their name on it or something like in that fashion, you should at the very least, make an email that has some little personal note that reminds the customer that this is not just an e-blast. This little thing, that is the type of thing that we're talking about when we say like, this is a luxury experience. Well, again, if there are only, you've segmented your list and say all of these people want townhouses. I'm just using it as an example. Great. So there's 30 people in that list. You don't have to blast to 30 people. You can go and get those 30 people's names, find something personal about them in the CRM and put it in like, hey, Glennda, how are you? I know the last time we saw you, blah, blah, blah. For me, it would be, Glennda, you could email me and say, how's Hamilton doing? Or whatever, which is my dog. How's Hamilton doing? That means a lot to me. That means that you took the time. It doesn't mean that I am just another number. So I think that that's, really valuable going forward, because when we talk about social and email and all of these things, almost agents are almost mentally like, I'm just checking a box to do it. I'm just getting this done. And guess what? Guess who can tell that?
Exactly. So, it's so funny because literally, like, I don't eat anything banana and not think about you. Because literally we shared the most phenomenal banana milkshake. It was a banana pudding milkshake at the JW Marriott at Disney. And it's so funny because I don't ever eat anything banana and not think about you. But
that was when you put that thing up on line the other day.
The banana pudding.
I was like, this lady is just tempting me right now to run down and go get myself some banana pudding.
Do you know what? They not only have the banana pudding milkshake, they also have some 2 other banana pudding things. And I was just sitting here thinking to myself, wait 1 second. I saved it. And I'm gonna have to find it and I'm gonna send it to you. But I saved it because they have 2 other banana items, and I'm gonna tell you what they are. I'm gonna do a taste test on those too. But and this is what people don't think.
I'm gonna send you something now. I'm sending you something.
I love it. Well, You know me because I love stuff. But this is the thing: is that it's so funny how agents don't even think about, like, do they like red wine or white wine, or do they drink or they don't drink, or what kind of music do they like? I had one client who posted on his Facebook that he was looking for tickets for Jamie Foxx, and I got him meet and greet tickets to Jamie Foxx.
Are you serious?
And sent them to him. He was here at the Fox Theater. That guy has sent me so much business you can't even imagine. And he's like, I said, hey, I've got these 2 tickets. I'm going to transfer them to you. It includes a meet and greet with him backstage. And he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that it's such a small thing to pay attention to that. But you know what? And again, listen, it is time to do
Yeah.
these little things, right? It is time. But at the end of the day, what are you going to get from
Yeah.
that? And like you just said, the amount of business that he will never forget that you've done that for
Yeah.
him,
Yeah.
never. And you're the first person he'll think of now every time he thinks of his favorite comedian, which is probably often, excuse me. And it's a no
Yeah.
brainer. It's a no
Yeah.
brainer.
Creating memorable,
Time well spent, as
yeah,
they say.
keeping, like creating these memorable experiences. And you started off talking a little bit about Disney. And, I mean, I'm in Atlanta. They say that the number one most recognized logo is the Coca-Cola logo. And you think about it, on what planet do you live that you haven't heard of Disney? I mean, I spent more at Disney in Orlando than it would have cost me to go on a European vacation. I mean, you want
It's
to
so
talk
true.
about a place that is printing money. You want to talk about a place that my grandkids don't even know what Disney is, but yet as soon as they see the Disney logo, they say glitter, Mickey Mouse. Like, he's two. Like, how do you know
Yeah.
that? It's
You
just
know,
so
it's
crazy. What an amazing job they've done at all of their branding. And so let me ask.
and it's generation after generation after generation. It's a formula that works. And so to apply that to real estate is that you literally can make an experience, like how you approach working with your clients, creating an experience again and again and again for them that they get with your team, they get with you. Like, it is, again, it just makes them think of you in ways that doesn't require you to always send an email, doesn't require you to constantly be selling to them. It makes a difference.
Well,
It
and
just, times
you made
forever.
a great point. Is they're building a brand that is multi-generational. They're building a brand that crosses demographic, age, generations. I mean, and think about it. It doesn't matter what language you speak. Even if Mickey Mouse is only speaking English, you're still watching him. And it's
That's right.
just and that is, if you're building a brand in real estate, you want to make sure that everybody, no matter their age, no matter where they live, that they know your name. So I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you one last question. If you could turn back time, you could go back to day one in your real estate business, whether your real estate, your coaching, your consulting business. If you could go back to day one, what is the one thing that you know now that you wish you had known then?
Oh, that is such a good question. What is the one thing I know now, which I wish I would have known then? That your all of your marketing, and I mean, listen, this is something that you could take today, and that marketing is less about you and all about them. And I think that this is something that you see this in different, but literally making things about people and making it about them. As you help people get what they want, they will be loyal to you forever. They will be your client. They will be your customer forever. It's not about saying, I go through this with, actually, I just went through this exercise with a bunch of my clients because they did make these, my God, like, they sold all these, massive numbers. And then how do you then say that without bragging? Well, what you do is you thank the clients for the year that they trusted you last year and that they took, this is, the emails that went out. It wasn't that like, hey, I'm the number, whatever. And, I'm wonderful and congratulations to me. And, I'm humble brag, whatever. Thank people. Gratitude is not even a humble brag. It's honestly, thank you for doing this. And now I'm more motivated than ever to make this happen again for you. And so less about you and more about them. That is a problem that is rampant in our industry, that you see people walking around. I mean, I can't tell you how many you have, I'm sure in your your feed as well. Do you know how many agents I have who are on a call like this and a phone like laughing? What does that do for me? So this is what I tell people, whether it's I'm teaching a class or I'm consulting with them. Okay, but put yourself in the consumer, put yourself in the client's shoes. What does this do for them? It's something that, I would day one, go back, start now. That is what you should be asking yourself, no matter what.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you just hear that? I mean, just let's do a little rewind. Let's do a little review. If there's one thing that you know now that you wish that you knew then, and that is all of your marketing is less about you and all about them. Help them get what they want and they will be loyal to you forever. Hello, mic drop. I don't even think we need to say anything else. Do you know, and this is the thing, is that, we've all been guilty of the humble brag. But there's never been anything that is better proof than this post right here. And that is, stars, where is it? Of course, I can't pull it up. It's right here in the front. I know it's right here, darn it. It's a post. You would think that I would have this straight up. I wasn't even meaning to talk about this. But the post that I did about my clients in front of the sign, when I sold the house and I took a picture of them in front of the house, and that was when they really were like, that's when my social media like blew up, was featuring the client, not myself. Not I sold 123 Banana Street with 40 offers in 4 hours, 400,000 over the list price. It was, here are my sweet clients that I helped find the home where they will raise their children, their family home, where they will enjoy every single holiday, every single moment, and it is them in front of their house and with the too late sign. And they fell in love with that. And it's just, every time I think about it, it just gives me goosebumps. So
and Glennda, I'll tell you, if you can do this even in a different way, where you can say like that photo is gold, because it really is. It's thanking, it's whatever. But I'll tell you something, where you keep them in the caption and you get even more people from that is in the caption, you start with the problem that they came to you with. They came to me after seeing, I'm just making this, I don't know your clients, but they came to me after being online and seeing 30 houses that didn't fit. We sat together. I understood immediately what they needed. Like, if you take people through the steps, you almost make it okay for the next person. You make it okay for the next person who's reading that to say, wow, that sounds like me. Because everyone is looking for themselves. Like in that photo, the reason why that photo resonated is because people are looking for themselves. People look for themselves in any story, but they're looking for themselves like, wow, I'm so happy for them. And this is what I want to do. So one step further in that would even be, let me tell you the story of these two. And again, you're making it okay for people to have it is okay that, you made a mistake by looking by yourself without an agent. Okay, I don't have to say that to you. Like, I'm telling you that this is what happened with these folks, and we still were able to get them the home of their dreams. And again, that's not a price point. That's the story of this couple, which can be anybody's story, luxury or just a regular home purchase. An investment property doesn't have to be, a massive castle in the sky for that to resonate. But I love what you did there.
What agents are doing, and you and I both see it, is they're doing just listed, which is once upon a time, and then just sold, which is the end. And they're leaving out the best part, which is the journey from once upon a time to the end. Because if you just post once upon a time and the end, then nobody knows how you got from one place to the other. So I absolutely love it.
I teach people in my class I mean, it is by far the most effective mailer that I have any of my clients ever sent out. So I teach them how to kind of make that work within their marketing of that. Because you're right. Most people do the, hey, just sold. And the next time the person just listed. And the next time the person sees it, is just sold. And you're right. I mean, I had a client who I sat with in Southern California, and she's like, I'm not getting any traction on my mailers. I said, okay, show me your mailers. Do you know what they all were? They were the most beautiful just solds that you had ever seen in your life. And then it was just sold in the bottom right. So by the time you had actually realized what you were reading, the house was gone.
Yeah.
I said to her, that is actually the best way to get people angry. We found it right here in your mail. We found it. So, you have to give people the whole story and then tell them what I did here, I will absolutely do for you. That's the call to action. It's not call me and we'll make this deal. Like, don't be salesy about it. Tell them within the course of what you do, how you do it, and how you're going to do it for them.
Yeah. I love that. And I have taken so many notes.
And Glennda, you and I know each other. So if there's any time that you ever do need a note-taking session, I'll be glad to just give you a call,
I love it. I love it.
Send you a ton of unsolicited. Oh my God, Glennda, I have an idea.
I love it. Danielle, where can people find you?
So I am on thinkbillionDollar.com. I am also Danielle Garofalo at Instagram. That's Garofalo. Listen, nobody's ever gotten it right. We just found my father's high school yearbook, and they got his name wrong back then. So it's been generations now where we just can't get our name spelled right, but we're still going to keep trying. And like you and I were discussing, I'm going to do in July and August, 2 more courses, because I find that they're much more affordable for the folks who are not ready for something to coach in yet. And so we'll have this stuff up on Think Billion Dollar about that. And
awesome.
I mean, Glennda, you and I had a lot of fun teaching that class.
We had so much fun.
We did. It was great.
And we really, I feel like that we helped people. I can't tell you how many messages I've gotten from people that were just like, I love the course. I loved the intimate group. I loved having the opportunity to have multiple instructors talking about different things. And it really was just the perfect kind of trifecta of courses to get your social media and your business going.
And we also did the easy thing. The thing that is most not done is like, let me bring you through a ton of useless data. I've taken so many of these classes that are out there, and I'm like, it takes so long to get to the point. We just jumped right in, and they're like, if you want to do some of, like, obviously this stuff is a progression. You can sit down and like really, like, you and I both say this. You need to do a deep dive here. You need to do whatever. But if you want to start and add things in today, you need something today, this is what you do today. Yeah. So we gave like actionables, and I'll tell you that I still do too. I love it when folks who I've worked with, especially in whether it's a class or even something I've said on a podcast, will say, "Oh my God, that helped me immediately." There is no better feeling on my end.
100%.
When someone has like, this made a difference for me, and it made a difference for me financially, that's a win.
Yes,
win-win.
It is. I love it. Danielle, thank you so much for being with me.
Glennda, thank you so much. And thank your awesome leaders, listeners, because I'll tell you, when I pop into your Instagram, which is every day, your audience here and your network is so engaged and really thoughtful with the questions they ask. So I'm pumped that I'm here on the Glennda's Guru. Do I get a T-shirt that says Glennda Guru, or do I just make my own button?
Oh my gosh! I think we need to have.
How do we let everyone know?
We need to have those. I'm a Glennda's Guru. I love it.
When I'm walking around that says Glennda's Guru, people are like, "Wait, are you Glennda Baker's Guru?" And of course, I'll just say, "What do you mean? Is there another Glennda?" So
I love it. I love it.
Is there another one?
I love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Glennda Baker. I'm a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. And today I had the opportunity to interview my friend and leading real estate industry visionary, Danielle Garofalo. If you are looking for her, you can find her on thinkbillionDollar.com or at her Instagram at Danielle Garofalo. I would love to see you again at Glennda's Guru. And Danielle, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Glennda. Big hugs.